I just spent 2 weeks and traveled 15,000 miles with this laptop, from Los Angeles to Taiwan to Japan. This is the HP Omen Max 16. It outperforms most gaming desktops, and I've been carrying it around the world like it's a book. If you're interested in gaming laptops, it's probably because you move around. Whether for school, work, or travel, it's enough to the point where the trade-offs of a laptop are worth the quality of life conveniences that it offers, especially when those trade-offs are shrinking with every new generation. The Omen Max 16 features an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090 laptop GPU that's as fast as the cooling and power delivery will allow. The specs on paper will tell you how high the hardware can jump, but temperatures and power tell you how high the ceiling is. And in this case, it's pretty damn high. GPU temps hover in the mid-70s at a 175 watt TDP, which if you know gaming laptops, your ears just perked up. But more on that later. As you might expect, an RTX 5090 laptop GPU running at 175 watts is not the same or as fast as a desktop RTX 5090 pushing 600 watts. But in my opinion, given the form factor we're dealing with here, mobile gaming performance just doesn't get much better than this right now. The unit I received is configured with an Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX 24-core CPU, 32 gigs of DDR5 5600 memory, 2 terabytes of NVMe storage, and a 16-inch 2560 by 1600 240Hz OLED display. Apart from maxing out the memory to 64 gigs, this is the highest end configuration available with a lofty price tag of $4,300. But you can put your eyes back in their sockets, as the base configuration for those with fewer demands starts at a more manageable $2,500. I initially tested the laptop in balanced mode in the Omen Gaming Hub, which caps the CPU and GPU power limits to 35 watts and 75 watts respectively. In Cyberpunk 2077 on high without ray tracing or any of the GPU's DLSS 4 features like multi-frame generation, the laptop scored 96 FPS on average with a 1% low of 65. A good score in its own right, but rerunning the test in Unleashed mode, which gives the CPU and GPU a total thermal power of 250 watts, saw the frame rate soar to 122 FPS on average and a 1% low of 88. Again, that's pure rasterization performance with zero boost from AI at high resolution on one of the toughest games to run. Turning on ultra ray tracing adds a ton of eye candy that's been enhanced by new RT and Tensor cores on the RTX 50 series, but that demands greater resources that the hardware struggles to meet on its own, with an average of 46 FPS and 1% low of 36. Simply enabling DLSS Super Resolution to the balanced setting delivers 84 FPS on average and 1% lows of 58, and the game still looks very good. Now, with the arrival of DLSS 4 on the RTX 50 series, there's been a lot of important discussions about multi-frame generation and the value that it adds to gaming. At a glance, the original frame gen that arrived with the RTX 40 series creates one AI-generated frame in between each pair of consecutive rendered frames. The end result is a higher output frame rate that can make gameplay feel smoother. The new multi-frame gen has the ability to create 2 or even 3 AI-generated frames per rendered frame for even more smoothness. Months ago, some of you watched my friend Ian and I do a blind test where both of us were able to feel the higher output FPS and smoother movement with MFG enabled. On the flip side, we noticed a bit of input lag too, since MFG increases the frames on screen, not the frames being rendered. So we agreed it would be best to leave MFG off for competitive gaming where the low latency is crucial, and to leave it on for pretty much everything else. However, which setting of MFG you should use is harder to say. The 2x setting is the original frame gen, which adds 1 AI-generated frame for every 2 rendered frames, while 3x adds 2 frames and 4x adds 3 frames. To see how various levels of multi-frame gen affect performance, here's a look at more of my test results. The output FPS increases a lot as we scale up to 2, 3, and 4x, making fast-paced movement feel way smoother than what the hardware can do on its own. The trade-off here is that the more AI-generated frames we add, the greater the input lag, and tendency for visual artifacts to appear in a worst-case scenario. Personally, I've found that 2x or 3x MFG hits the sweet spot for performance, latency, and image quality. And since I don't play competitively, I keep it enabled almost all the time. At that setting, the gameplay improvements easily outweigh any trade-offs. Understandably, AI isn't for everyone, but whether you adopt this new wave of technology or prefer pure rasterization to render your frames, this laptop runs literally anything at 1600p high settings. The 240Hz display makes all those frames coming in feel so seen, baby. It's glorious, it's really amazing for fast esports titles, and any content on this OLED looks insane. Color gamut, contrast, black levels. It makes it hard to go back to IPS once you've tried it. OLED comes at a premium, but it's worth it. Now that's not to say there aren't any caveats. Despite its Unleashed mode offering maximum performance, what's also unleashed in the process is fan noise. It gets so loud that only a pair of noise-canceling headphones can make it bearable. But there's good news. Switching to performance mode reduces the fans to tolerable noise levels with minimal impact on gaming performance, like 3% at most. So I would recommend using balanced mode for general use, performance mode when gaming, and unleashed when you need to simulate a Cat 5 tornado. In performance mode, the GPU reached a peak power draw of 175 watts and saw a max temp of 79C with an average load temp of 75C. Those are desktop GPU temperatures in a laptop. They're pulling this off with a vapor chamber and heat pipe design that uses their Omen cryo compound. It's a special thermal paste with better viscosity that performs like liquid metal for efficient heat dissipation. In the Cinebench R23 multi-threaded test, the Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX hit a high score of 35,139 and a single thread score of 2,178. These are good scores, but the CPU runs hot, with gaming temps averaging 91C. On the bright side, this is actually normal behavior for this chip and well below the thermal throttle limit, which is around 100 to 105C. That said, getting a quality laptop cooler to maximize performance and lifespan of the chip is probably not a bad idea. While CPU undervolting was available on some older Omen laptops, it's not supported on the Omen Max 16. They should bring it back. At just under 6 pounds and 1 inch thick, the unit is super portable, even with the slim power brick. It's kind of heavy, but it's slim. I feel like this laptop's spirit animal is a mantis shrimp. Insanely powerful, but light and agile as hell. It's just nasty. It definitely strikes a balance of thin yet durable, and that's aided by good build quality materials. The hinges are sturdy and have a nice amount of resistance, no wobbliness whatsoever. I do wish that the front edge wasn't so sharp. It gave me some wrist fatigue during a longer session. HP just needs to round out this edge and it would be perfect. Fortunately, the wrist area below the keyboard stays really cool when gaming. My wrists sweat very easily, so this is a huge plus for me. Speaking of the keyboard, it features Puddin-style keycaps with per-key customizable RGB backlighting, a 10-key number pad, and keys that light up when holding the function key to easily spot those secondary functions. Very handy. The keys are super quiet, and the lattice-free design actually helps me type faster and with fewer typos than on most mechanical keyboards. At the front, there's an RGB light bar that adds some ambiance. It's fully customizable, or it can be turned off. The multi-touch trackpad is fairly standard, it's a good size, and offers the responsiveness you would expect from a quality laptop. The built-in speakers are built-in speakers. Very little bass, fairly underwhelming overall sound quality. They're perfectly fine for watching YouTube videos when you don't feel like using headphones, which is usually all we really expect from laptop speakers anyway. Here's a complete list of the I/O. I like the dual Thunderbolt 4 Type-C ports with power delivery and DisplayPort capabilities, dual Type-A 10 gigabits per second USB ports, Ethernet, and a full-size HDMI 2.1 port. Those are all great. There's enough connectivity here that you probably don't need to carry around a USB hub everywhere unless you have specific needs like a card reader or something like that. Above the display, you also get a 1080p IR webcam with dual array microphones. It's got an 83 watt-hour battery, which is on the smaller side, but battery life isn't what this laptop's about. It's about plugging into an outlet wherever you are, bunkering down, and gaming your ass off. In eco mode at 60% screen brightness, the battery lasted just south of 2.5 hours in a mixed use test with web browsing and video playback. Nothing to write home about, but again, if battery life is what you're looking for, there are better options available that are designed for that use case. Beyond the basics, there are a few quality of life features that are unique to the Omen Max 16. Fan cleaner prevents dust buildup in the system by periodically reversing fan direction to keep the fans clean and running optimally. This basically makes the laptop a maintenance-free device. Omen AI is a new feature that automatically configures your in-game settings based on a target FPS that you set. It's a neat concept for gamers who don't want to spend the time to dial in everything themselves. Right now, Omen AI only supports Counter-Strike 2 and League of Legends, but more titles like Cyberpunk are to follow. As a bonus feature for owners of select HyperX peripherals, Instant Pair lets you connect up to 3 HyperX devices simultaneously to the laptop for seamless pairing. If you don't use HyperX, you'll just have to pair devices the normal way like a peasant. So don't get me wrong, this device has its quirks and flaws, but that's mostly just the nature of being a laptop. This right now is the easiest way to travel with this much power and gaming hardware when you factor in the crazy display. It's a top-tier option for mobile gaming if you're chasing the absolute best AAA experience wherever there's a power outlet. It's definitely coming with me on more adventures soon, but that is gonna do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, toss a like before you go. Get subscribed for more tech content on the way. Until then, have a good one, and I will see y'all in the next video.